Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Discuss Detroit. I'm your host, Jeanette Pierce with the City Institute. I'm so excited to be joined today by Moody Mattan, who's going to talk to us about some really cool projects going on in Detroit. Welcome, Moody.
Hey, Jeanette. How's it going?
Good. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
It's been great to chat with you and get to know you. Like some people I've known for like decades, right? And some people we've known each other a little bit around town for a while, but really just starting to get to chat about some of the great projects we want to work together on recently.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I've kind of been following your work for a while now, and I think like now with what we're doing with ElectriFlyDetroit and showing off some parts of the city like similar to some of the work you're doing, I think is a good time for us to team up.
Absolutely. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself. What's your origin story? Who are you?
Sure. Yeah, so my real name is Mahmoud. I go by Moody. That's a nickname I've had ever since I've been young. And my origin story is I kind of grew up here in the Detroit area. I actually moved to Detroit from Columbus, Ohio, where I was born. My dad had a job with the Arab Network of America that was stationed here in Dearborn in Detroit. And so that's why we moved from Columbus and kind of grew up in Dearborn for a few years, and then moved to the Commerce Walled Lake area, and went to Wayne State University. And then my family has always had businesses in kind of the Dearborn, Detroit area, and so I kind of grew up working in these family businesses. And I think that's kind of where I caught some of this entrepreneurial spirit from my dad. And so I went to Wayne State University and actually left Michigan in around 2009. I had left for almost 8 or 9 years, and I did some work overseas. So I worked in Jordan and Malaysia for a global logistics software company. And then I came back to the US, got my MBA from Babson out in Boston, and then moved out to Silicon Valley and started working in tech. And kind of on the business side of tech, I was investing in technology startups. And one of the first companies I looked at was an augmented reality headset called Meta. And that's when I first really took a deep dive on augmented and virtual reality, did a lot of research on the industry for that deal. And we ended up making that investment, and I kind of fell in love with that industry and told myself this was going to be huge. This was like the next big thing, like the size of the internet or the size of, like mobile phones, like it was going to be massive. And so told myself if I have a chance, I should try to work in this industry. And so that's what I've been doing ever since.
Wow, that's a great story. I mean, and all over the world and locally. And I think when people travel and leave Detroit, it actually helps them learn more about what Detroit can offer them. It gives that perspective, right? But so often people leave, but frequently they come back. And that's been your experience too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes you appreciate home more, especially when you live abroad. You really appreciate the luxuries of living in America, sort of thing. And then even home here in Detroit, when working in like places like Boston and San Francisco, you really miss. I think the people here in Michigan are really great. Very helpful people, very nice people, and then yeah, I think just like the area here, there's something special about Detroit. And also my family was here, so I wanted to come back. And my goal was to kind of bottle up some of this tech magic that I got a chance to experience when I was out in Silicon Valley, and kind of bottle some of that up and bring it back here to Detroit.
which is exactly what you've done, it seems like. So, okay, so talk to us, and by that I mean me, who do not understand technology very well, about augmented reality and virtual reality, and what's the difference between that, and is it it's happening now. It's not just science fiction, on television, right?
Yeah. So it's definitely happening now. I would say it kind of kicked off in 2012. So Facebook bought this company called Oculus that developed a virtual reality headset for $2 billion. And that was kind of like a big signal that there was going to be a gold rush in this industry. And but it's been around for a while, and it's kind of had its ups and downs. I think now we're finally at a point where the hardware and the software is both good enough, and we're getting new technologies like 5G that can really help to power these really large experiences. We're talking like gigabytes of files and things like that. And so I think now is a perfect point where like this technology is all at a point where these concepts of augmented and virtual reality can be realized. And so just to get definitions out, augmented reality is where you can see the real world, but you can place digital objects inside of the real world. So a good example of this is like with IKEA. IKEA has an app where you can visualize furniture inside of your home. So like any product in the IKEA catalog, you can place down a sofa or place down a bed or place down a table and see what that looks like. So you're actually placing it in your real home. So that's augmented reality.
Like
And
Paint.
then,
I think we did that with Paint, right? That was one of the early, your easily accessible ones was, what color paint do you want on your wall? And you take a picture and then click buttons through, right?
exactly.
Or I think you mentioned it's also, filters. That's like probably the most used part, right?
Yeah.
Where, like I don't actually have cat ears, or my face is not actually, rainbow, or what all the different filters that we use on our phone. That would be augmented reality.
Exactly. Yep. Taking your kind of like the real world, your real face, but augmenting it somehow with like a digital experience. And then virtual reality is like with Oculus, that VR headset. So that is a headset that you'll put on, and where you are totally immersed in a virtual world. So you're totally closed off to the real world, but you're inside a digital world, and you're totally like transported there.
And you don't move, you don't see anything like reality outside. It's all just
it's all a computer generated a virtual computer generated world. Yep, exactly.
Amazing. I remember in the 90s, I was part of a thing called Michigan Future Problem Solvers. It was like a kind of gifted kid program where you came up with like future problems and future solutions, and it meant, so it's all in the future. So it was all, you could make anything up, right? Like, oh, we go to Mars, and we had a whole big thing around virtual reality, and like that. I think the issue was like someone was addicted to virtual reality, the virtual world. We got 12-year-olds just making up all kinds of things, and it was but we're finally, that was 25 years ago, and we're kind of just getting to really get it into the mainstream. So talk about your company and how you've used those things, and then the really cool project you have in Detroit right now.
Yeah, sure. So my company is called BrandXR, and at BrandXR, we have built a no-code augmented reality platform. So for the past few years, we've been building augmented and virtual reality experiences for kind of a wide variety of clients, from NASA and the Kennedy Space Center to Wayne State University here in Detroit. We've kind of worked with a wide range of clients, helping them to use augmented and virtual reality for sales, for marketing, for virtual learning, or virtual training. Those are some of the main applications. And so in doing that, we've realized that developing these projects is pretty damn difficult. You need a big development team, and you need kind of a specialized development team that requires people that know these 3D game engines. So a lot of our team's background is in video game development. And so, you know, most Fortune 500 companies don't have, you know, video game development teams sitting around.
So all those times, you know, like your mom was like, stop playing video games. What's that going to help you? You know, you get out there and look for a job or do the, you know, mow the lawn. And now, I mean, video games are literally paying off for people in so many different ways. And the skills, right? That's a big part of it.
Yeah, I think it's a good gateway drug into technology. I think video games, you know, it's a good way to get people into it. But yeah, I played a lot of video games as a kid. I'm sure everyone did, you know, Nintendo and Sega.
The original stuff.
Oh yeah, even nowadays, you know, playing like FIFA on the Xbox or something like that. So, but yeah, it's what we realize is really difficult and kind of a specialized skill set to build out these experiences. And so we wanted to help make it easy for everyone. And so that's why we developed this no-code platform. And the idea is anyone can create an augmented reality experience, regardless of your, you know, technical ability or engineering ability or coding ability. So you could be a teacher, a second grade teacher creating an AR experience for your class. You could be a marketing person, you know, building a marketing experience for your small business. You could be a designer designing something in AR, and really takes all of the hard engineering out of it. And
right, like Squarespace and some of the, you know, those other things that no code, again, making it for people like us. Like, again, I have a lot of skill sets, and I'm very aware also what my skill sets are not. And so being able to plug in, you know, through your technology, it would be awesome.
Totally. Yeah. And we're inspired by some of these other no code platforms out there, like Shopify. I'm a big fan of. You know, you can build an e-commerce website and be up and selling in a day. You know, it's so fast and so easy to use. Yeah, it's Shopify, Squarespace. So yeah, nobody is like hard coding websites anymore. You know, very few people are doing that. And so you know, we kind of believe these businesses are going to have some sort of 3D augmented reality experience. That's kind of where the platforms are shifting from, like the internet to mobile to like what's the next big thing. And we think it's augmented and virtual reality. So people need help just building the content, because it's kind of a new 3D world that a lot of people are unfamiliar with.
Yeah, and well, and you guys, I mean, you're right on that cutting edge. You're leading, right? That was the goal, right? Let's take this idea and let's jump in at the front end and help people access it versus kind of come in when it's already at its peak. And so kudos to you. Great, you did it.
Yeah, I mean, we're still doing it. We are by no means, you know, finished. We're still a startup company. We're still early, I think, in our journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, we think that you know, there are these moments in time where like the technology will shift, and then a lot of people get left behind. And so it's almost like the Blockbuster and Netflix analogy. You know, like, did they see this digitization coming? They just didn't. They were reluctant to the change. And so we want to help people be able to make those changes to this new 3D world in an easy way. And what we're doing in Detroit, with one of our partners, ElectriFly, is an augmented reality art festival. And it's really to get people to start using augmented reality almost on a daily basis, and to get them out exploring the city of Detroit through these experiences. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Yeah, so tell us about that a little bit. So how many murals? When does it start? It ends technically, and how does it work?
Yeah, so it's going all summer long. It's going all summer long, and so how it works is there's 6 murals around the city of Detroit that are augmented reality murals. And so if you go to ElectriFlyDetroit.com, there's a map and locations listing of all of the walls. So they're all public facing walls. So it's free for you to go to. And on the walls, there'll be a sign that has a QR code where you can scan it and download the ElectriFly app. And then with the app, you can scan the murals. And that's how you make the murals come to life and see the interactive 3D experience.
So you just hold it up, and I mean, when you say scan it, you just hold it up at the mural, and then you see all the augmented experience happening.
Exactly. So just how you would scan a QR code,
right?
Using that same sort of computer vision technology, we are using the art as a very attractive QR code. And that's what triggers the AR experience. And then that's kind of what makes it come to life. And then you can interact with different parts of the mural, some of the different pieces, and kind of make them come to life with animations and almost like choose your own adventure style of experience, but inside of the AR mural.
That's so fun. And some of them were existing murals. So you worked with local artists that already had murals, and some were new, right?
Yeah, so there's 6 murals total. 3 of them were already existing murals, and 3 of them we had like freshly painted, newly commissioned murals. And yeah, so you can use existing art pieces. How it works is you need to have just some good contrast. So the computer vision is colorblind. You just need to have some good contrast and good detail in your murals. And then it should be able to work. And so you can use anything. It doesn't have to be a mural. You could use like a logo, or you could use, like a picture, or any type of image. But of course, it's more beautiful to do it with public art. And when I moved back from California, it was cool because I'd come back, visit the family, but I would only be in town for a couple days, and you can only see so much, and so you can't really see how much the city has changed. But I would come back, and you'd get little tastes of the city changing. And so you're like, oh, this area is coming up, this area is coming up, this area is coming up. And so finally I was like, I need to move back, and moved back. And around 2016, 2015, and was spending a lot of time in Eastern Market, and really was amazed by how the murals really like beautified that area and made it a popular and attractive area.
Yeah.
And
well, more attractive, right? I mean, that's always the thing. We have such a great, we've always been here doing awesome stuff in Detroit and Detroiters and Eastern Market, but it is that great example, that TLC, a little bit of attention, like Eastern Market Corporation, and also the vision, right? So you have the, Rula and Jesse, and do it, with 1X Run. But then you also have to have, and obviously they're really the vision behind the murals in the market, but then to have Eastern Market, the nonprofit, and Dan Carmody, who we've talked to on this show before, not be against kind of this new thing, right? And embrace it and say, let's add more art and because art's always had a role in, in Eastern Market, but now it's, over 100 murals. For those that haven't been, there's over 100 murals in the Eastern Market District as part of the Murals in the Market Festival. Well, and now Rula has Spotlight Detroit, which is an amazing new art gallery, coffee shop, bar, restaurant.
Yeah, very cool
venue.
place. Very cool place. Definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah, and we're actually going to have her on soon too, I think, to talk about that spot, because it's my new favorite spot in the city. But yeah, you're, I mean, just like this embracing of public art, and this is happening in cities everywhere. And it's always interesting because it's the same, sometimes it's the same people that might have like gotten busted for art, you know, illegal art, are now getting hired to like do art, you know, to put murals on buildings officially, right? So we've kind of, I think most cities have realized that there's a lot of benefit in supporting artists versus punishing them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, as the world gets more and more digital, I think, you know, the art we're seeing is getting more and more digital as well. So I think like this year was the year of the NFT. I think like if you had no idea what NFT, you probably have never heard that acronym like before this year. But most people now have heard of it and know it's a thing. And so
Okay, for those that haven't though, you have to, you know, you can't, you gotta.
yeah, NFT is, and I'm not a big cryptocurrency guy, but an NFT, from my knowledge, is a non-fungible token. It's kind of like a way where you can attach, in the art world, you can attach an artwork to a blockchain and be able to certify that this is like, you know, one of one artwork from this artist.
Yeah.
So the way right now things get certified, artworks get certified, um, all manually, you know, now. And so this is like a digital way to do that.
And I mean, that's a lot what we're talking. I mean, what ElectriFly is about is art and technology, you know, joining forces to have like really take the best of both of those worlds and put them together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And so that's like a lot of the artists that we work with, they're we you know, we will approach artists, or they will approach us, and a lot of times it's their first digital art project that they're working on. And so we're kind of taking their work that they, you know, might have sketched by hand or painted on a mural, and kind of like creating a 3D rendition of it, and bringing some of their characters and some of their storylines in the piece to life.
Yeah. Well, there's one right at Rosa Parks and at Consider 12th, 12th and Claremont, right? The events of the uprising of 67 started, and where Gordon Park is and the congregation now. What, you know, so that's been there a little while. So can you just give us an example of how you connected with that artist in that piece?
Yeah, so that one, we actually linked up with Katrina Lockhart. She's the owner of the Karasi Cultural Storytelling Museum, that the piece is on, and the piece is actually done by Hubert Massey.
Yeah.
And so if you're not familiar with Hubert Massey, he's probably one of Detroit's most famous living artists, I would say.
Absolutely. We can go see it right now too on the map here.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Hubert Massey has done, you know, stuff at the Charles H. Wright. I mean, he absolutely one of the, he's everywhere in the city. Definitely one of the most prolific artists, amazing artists in the city. And this is one of the piece on here that we're talking about that people can go to and download the ElectriFly app and see what happens. So he was involved in, I mean, so so Hubert Massey in this case was involved in, like, you give him, like, how do they create the digital side of it too?
So this was one that was already created. And so what we did, Hubert was able to kind of give us this piece in layers. And so we were able to kind of break out, you know, like the Rensen in the top right corner, or the Q line in the bottom right, you know, or the steel worker in the bottom left. So these were each individual pieces that we were able to kind of pull out. And then we were able to like animate them and kind of make them come to life. And so this one is really cool. It has some nice Motown jazz music playing in here. So some really cool effects. And yeah, this mural in particular, is extremely relevant to the community. They've had a number of community meetings that went into this piece to kind of get the community's feedback and approval. And yeah, it really tells the story of the uprising that happened in 1967, and this was really like the epicenter for it. So you can see some of the historic building signs on here, like the Chit Chat Lounge or the Algiers Motel.
Yeah.
These were the places where this stuff really happened. And
Yeah.
so this is a piece that is, not shying away, from the very like real past that we had in Detroit.
Well, and that's a lot that we talk about on our tours too. Like you have to really we believe that you have to understand the past to really embrace and impact the present, right? And so this is again for folks, this is what's cool with our virtual tours. We can go to a place. We can even go back in time to before they remodeled the park, right? Or when there were still empty buildings and before that mural was there, which is, and this lot has been cleared for some really great community development projects. And you can see like that changed to some extent that you were talking about in the city. And even this church is now a really great venue. And you have, there's an event coming up, right, in this area. Talk to us about how people can get involved in ElectriFly. So it's ElectriFly,
FLY, yeah, Detroit.com.
Go there. So that people can go to the ElectriFlyDetroit website, find out all this information, what it is. You can get the app, the different artists that are featured, details.
That will link out to each of the artists' page. So if you want to kind of check out their artwork and learn more about the artist, that will go to, Hubert Massey's website.
And this is an example, right? So we can click on this as an example real quick.
So this one that we're showing you video is actually in Orlando, but it's an example of what you'll see. We didn't want to give it all away. And if you go down,
we can spend all day looking at that.
Oh yeah.
But some people will just be listening. So I like to do a little video, but not tons of it. But everyone can go to ElectriFlyDetroit.com to check out all of the examples.
And if you scroll down a little bit, it will have the locations perfect here. So this was the Rising Strong,
Eastern Market, 8 Mile, New Center at the Tangent Gallery, Elephant Room downtown, and Woodbridge here. And there's a great map. And you and I were talking about doing a virtual tour, so we can kind of tell people about the areas that and the neighborhoods around these murals a little bit. Lots of cool ideas. But what events are coming up that people should know about, or should they just stay on the website and find?
Yeah, I would definitely say follow ElectriFly on social media. So just at ElectriFly on Facebook and Instagram, and we're going to be announcing events at each of the locations. So some of them are still being confirmed. But yeah, I would say just follow along, and then when you go there and check out the experience, definitely like tag us in your content. So you can take a video of the experience. You can take like an AR selfie, so you can like actually go inside of the art and take videos. So please tag us in that stuff. Tag it's at ElectriFly or at Made with BrandXR. Either one of those, and we'll definitely reshare all of the great photos and videos that we see.
Awesome. Well, and if everyone wants to learn more and get in touch with you, like now maybe people are thinking I could never do that, but now with BrandXR making it easier, that they should reach out to, to hire you guys to work on some projects and making some AR stuff happen for their business or project, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can check out. There's a couple different ways we can work with clients. We can number one, they can use the BrandXR Studio. That's totally DIY, and they can sign up for that for a 1-month free trial on our website. Our website is brandxr.io. So you can do it totally DIY, kind of do it yourself using our software. Or we could do everything for you, totally like A to Z, kind of like white glove custom service. Or it could be a hybrid of the two, where maybe we make a couple 3D models or some assets and animations for you, and you use our platform to build out the experience.
Lots of
so yeah,
options.
all of that is at brandxr.io. That's our website.
Great.
And then ElectriFly, their website is electrifly.co, and they specifically do like augmented reality art and merchandise. So you can find interactive merchandise of some of the mural experiences at electrifly.co. So everything from enamel pins to t-shirts and even some prints of the experiences. If you wanted to take one of these augmented reality artworks and you put it up in your own home and be able to show it off. So
well, and like, is the future then you think like we're gonna like if we have like Oculus type glass, or even or something where you can just have glasses and you'd see that wherever the augmented reality was, you would automatically be seeing it without having to do it on your phone? Is that the kind of sci-fi world that's not so sci-fi in our future?
Yeah, I would say that is coming in the next maybe 2 to 3 years. So I know that companies like Apple and Facebook and Microsoft and Google are working on.
They have the Google glasses, the Google,
oh yeah,
but I feel like those like didn't take off super.
So they're doing I think they've kind of botched that one for a number of reasons, but they're revamping it as Google Glass 2.0, and they're focusing more on like enterprise business customers versus giving them out to consumers. So that I think is probably smart until they figure out like what a public rollout will look like.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely you can see the writing on the wall that these experiences will transform from the phones to these AR glasses in the next few years. And it's going to be the same device makers that make your devices now that are going to be making these glasses.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's going to be a bigger part of our lives, and also a bigger part of art. I know even the Knight Foundation is looking for a digital component in all of their upcoming grants. So they don't want to have an issue like we had during COVID, where people were without art for a year because all of the
they couldn't go
shut down and museums were shut down and everything was closed down. So having like a quick, easy, on-demand way to access these experiences is going to be big coming up in the future.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking with me, and my brain's starting to just go and like all this new stuff. And now I also know who to call if I, need someone who knows all about this stuff, because not everyone in my circle does. So you're our go-to expert now.
Yeah, happy to help out with anything, augmented, virtual reality related, anything tech related. I'm happy to help out with. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do together, jamming on maybe some AR mural tours. And we're going to, now we have 6, we're going to be adding a few more by the end of this year. So we will be, we'll have some special announcements coming. So yeah, just stay tuned for those. And then hopefully some outside of Detroit as well. So like in other surrounding areas, getting out to the suburbs a little bit.
Nice. Well, have a great day, and we'll see you around the ElectriFlyDetroit murals and around town in general. And thanks everyone for joining us. And don't forget to follow City Institute and all of the places that you'd like, as well as look at our past episodes at thecityinstitute.com. And we will talk to you very soon. Have a great day.